Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Cuz You Don't Know Football. This is another. It's cold out here. It's cold out here in New York now. So it's gonna be hoodies for from here on out probably. But as you can see, we got my man Tazar on here. Listen, he right. Listen, you see, every time you come on here now, you got that jersey on. Listen.
You know what I mean?
You see, I guess, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I guess.
You know what type
I
time I'm
understand.
on. You know what type time I'm on.
So let me be the first to come on here and also say, I'm gonna start and I like I'm that guy. You see, I'm not giving credit for it, but I'm that guy. If I said something, I stay on it. I stand on it. But I was wrong about something. Last week, I picked the Pittsburgh Steelers to beat your Baltimore Ravens,
And I
and I
told
could.
you, call me. You called me. You personally called me and told me
Uh huh.
what to ask against my Ravens.
I said before anybody else, before you hear anywhere else, I wanted you to hear from me first. Because I don't because you my man, and I don't want you hearing something from everybody else. Yeah, I don't like stuff like that. But either way, I said the Steelers were going to beat your Ravens, and I couldn't have been more wrong. I brought up them having a pitch that could beat anybody. I brought up you not having Zay Flowers. I had them even playing the fact that they played bad, and uh, and now you can't hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, and I even brought up the fact that they don't like you, because you're in their division. So I wanted to say, I would first want to say, yeah, I was wrong. Um, I would say this. I have now changed my thought process though. That game made me change my thought process on some things. I was the kind of person I didn't think it was a good idea to make playoffs a part of the MVP award, but now I have seen the error in my ways because that performance by Lamar Jackson, um, he wouldn't have been able to showcase that on that stage like that to say he could do that. So when we have the conversation of most valuable, um, I am now before I thought it was just Josh Allen, but now I can see it should be for me, it should be a cool MVP at least.
Okay.
Uh,
I hear you.
Hold on, I gotta actually grab something. My light is too far away. Okay, there we go. Now we talking. Now we in there. You see that? You see the difference right there?
Yeah.
See, I'm shining now, right?
You shining. You shining.
Okay, that's all we try to do. All right, so let's get into this week. So some stuff happened this weekend. We talked a lot this week. I just want you to know, for everybody who didn't know, we talked a lot this week. So, so let's just start with the games, and we will get into everything. Don't worry, y'all. We're gonna get into everything. All right. So we're gonna start just in order of the games and how they happened. So the first game, the Houston Texans, they won. They actually blew out the Los Angeles Chargers, and they won 32-12. Let's look up some stats. We are of course always do the losing team first because well they lost. Justin Herbert was 14 to 32 for 242 yards, one touchdown, and four picks. Ouch. There literally nothing happened on the running game. Gus Edwards had 22 yards rushing, and J.K. Dobbins had 26 yards rushing. Uh, Receiving, Lad McConkey had 9 receptions for 197 yards and one touchdown. And pretty much was everything from there. And then CJ Stroud for the Texans. They were 22. He was 22 of 33 for 282 yards, one touchdown, one pick. Joe Mixon had 25 carries for 106 yards, one touchdown, but he also had a fumble this game too. That was in a crucial moment. Well, it was crucial at the time. Nico Collins, 7 receptions for 122 yards and a touchdown, and not much more there. But just going through all of these picks. Eric Murray had a pick. Uh, Derek Stingley had two picks. Who else had a pick? Um, Kamari
Kamari left.
Lassiter had a pick. Jeez Louise, they was just having a field day with your boy Justin Herbert. So tell me what happened this game? Talk to us about this game.
I'm gonna be realistic and as realistic as I can be. 'Cause I know you're a Justin Herbert denier, right? And we talked at
I'm not a
length.
denier of anybody. I just give
We
you
we,
what I see.
we
I'm not a
talked at length.
denier of anybody.
So I'm gonna call it like it is.
Okay.
The Chargers overachieved this year.
The Chargers overachieved this year. Okay.
Overachieved. They overachieved. We all know they were in a rebuild. They brought in a new head coach. They got rid of the number one receiver. Got rid of their running back that they had for a few years. They brought in two guys from Baltimore who were both coming off injury. They still have names on defense, but those names are older guys who haven't really been healthy and took pay cuts to stay there. I say all that to say this. The big mess up here was one, they never planned on being a contender. They never planned on making the playoffs. They didn't make any moves. They made moves that they could put a product on the field. They never made any moves to be a true contender. And it's evident.
Mm-hmm.
You watch the game, you see how the Ducks lined up. It's evident. You don't all right, so my man did have 200 yards of receiving, right? But I want to say he's a rookie.
Lad McConkley.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure if he's a rookie or not. You can keep talking. I'll figure it out.
So yeah, he's a rookie, 23 years old, and I don't got nothing against rookie wide receivers, but um, when you have money left and you know you're a contender, I think they were just trying to see
Yeah, he's a rookie.
if Harbaugh was going to keep Herbert, and he don't have a choice. Like it's not
Oh,
you
he was
can't just
keeping Herbert the whole time.
huh?
He was keeping Herbert the whole time. That's why he went over there.
Yeah,
That's why he went over there.
tomato tomato. This game came down to coaching, and although everybody loves Harbaugh, this Harbaugh, I got the real Harbaugh with the Ravens. This is the bootleg Harbaugh, right?
Don't hate on
I'm
Herbert.
not hating on him. Listen,
First of all, and I want people to know the Harbaugh that you hating on, he's more of the reason why I'm a Colts fan today. I'm not gonna say more than anything else, but he's top like four reasons why I'm a Colts fan today. So
that
there's
that
that.
that sucks.
It no damn sucks. Don't you hate on him now?
He was the head coach at Stafford. He at Stanford,
At
and
Stanford, yes, he was
yeah,
he was the head coach
and
at Stanford.
he coached your boy,
Andrew
but
Luck,
yeah,
absolutely.
not neither here nor there. Jim Harbaugh is a mediocre college coach. At
Well,
the time when he was getting stats at Stanford, anybody could win because everybody stayed in their little system. So there was no crossplay to really see who was really good. You could
okay.
be very good on the West Coast and never play an SEC team. Be very good in the SEC and never play a Power 10 team. Like it, Harbaugh's overrated. All right, Harbaugh's overrated. You can like him, Jim, whatever you want. I like John. I like the older brother. I'm a first child. He's a first child. We win. I win. This Harbaugh don't really win. All right. He won in Michigan. They gave him a job.
All
He
right,
gonna
cool.
he'll go
All
from
right. We
there.
heard you. We heard you. Now, I have a question. You sure you want to stick with the term or with the verbiage? This year is a rebuild for them. Are you sure you want to stick with
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Okay. I'm glad you said that. Because when you look at the playoff teams from this year, um, now Tampa Bay may have made the playoffs this year, but last year they were coming off of a year where they lost. Well, at the time was considerably the greatest quarterback of all time, and a bunch of pieces were gone. So they made the playoffs and won a game in a rebuild. The Rams, um, they mortgaged their future to win a Super Bowl. That came back to bite them, and they haven't even missed the playoffs yet, and they've just also advanced. So in their rebuild, it still is somehow looking good.
You're talking.
Hold on. We ain't done yet. We ain't done yet. You said it, so I'm gonna give you this. The Commanders are also in a what? A rebuild, and they somehow made the playoffs, and they won a game in the playoffs too. Let's keep on going. The Bills. The reason why I think Josh Allen was going to be, or why I think Josh Allen is the MVP, or at least co-MVP, why I thought he was going to be the MVP in the summer, because they lost the philosophy that they thought that was working for there, and they were rebuilding and playing a new style of football, and everybody admitted that was going to be difficult. So in their rebuild, still make the playoffs and went hold on, and I'm still not done. Last year, the Houston Texans make the playoffs. It was that CJ Stroud's first year, and they had a rookie head coach, and they hadn't made the playoffs in almost 8 years, and somehow they make the playoffs. And all these teams can make the playoffs and do that in rebuild, and somehow we still not looking at the problem that is in the Chargers organization. There's too much. Listen, I'm not saying. So you said I don't like him. I'm saying he could earn anything that he does. He's what he has done. He's thrown for 5,000 yards. He's thrown for 4,000 yards many times. I'm just also saying he's made the playoffs twice in 5 years, and he's lost both of them games to teams that were better than that his team was coming in with a better roster and a better quarterback, and they lost those games. I'm holding him to that as well. And you see like, of course, you like, oh, shout out to the cuz you don't know football Facebook group also. You saw in there, we've been saying it's never happened where a quarterback threw more interceptions in a playoff game than they did all year. It's
But
not that he's bad. He just gets in a situation and it's too big for him. He's not elite. People keep trying to tell me he's elite. People gave him a crown.
I
People
never
gave him the
said that.
crown.
Not over here. Not over here. He's
I didn't
good.
say you did it. I
He's
didn't
very
say you
good.
did it. I didn't say you did it. I said people, okay, people that are supposed to be smart people gave him the crown and said he's an elite quarterback. And I'm saying, no, he's just more like around Dak Prescott. He just needs more help. Like there's nothing wrong with being a quarterback that needs more help. Quarterbacks have won Super Bowls and needed more help. There's nothing wrong with that. But he gonna win the Super Bowl in that kind of way more than the kind of way a superstar quarterback would win it. That's all I'm saying about it.
Well, I'm gonna go back to what I said the whole time. He is a tier two, tier three type quarterback. I gave you the meme where you go head to head with Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow, and the numbers are astonishingly close. Um, you can say whatever you want, and the fact that it's never happened before that a quarterback threw more picks in a playoff game than they did all season, that's kind of kudos to his ability to not throw picks during the regular season. Only throwing three picks during the regular
That's
season.
great. That's phenomenal. There's nothing wrong with
In
what you just said.
17, not even 16, in 17 games, you
But
only threw
the,
three picks.
but there's nothing wrong with what you just said. My problem is when they needed him, why was it different? The same team, the same game plan, the same thing. Why was it different? And that's all I'm saying. So, wait. Because we got to move the show along. And also, when it comes to Joe Burrow, I'm sorry, Joe Burrow's not in the playoffs right now. We can talk about him off camera, but on this, Joe Burrow's not in the playoffs right now. So I can't focus on Joe Burrow right now.
That's my point exactly.
Okay,
You,
fair. So my question is,
he's not elite either. They're
but
both tier two, three.
here you go
Our
talking about
difference
Joe
is
Burrow again.
he don't got Jamar Chase in San
Listen,
Diego.
listen. Sorry, and that's that. We gonna have to address Joe Burrow again in the off season. And this is the last time we're gonna talk about Justin Herbert too, till the off season, because they both home now. So my question for you now is, what does this loss mean for the Chargers?
This loss means absolutely nothing. This was Harbaugh's first year there. We know we know Herbert is their guy. You don't really have an option.
Mhm.
They have hella cap space, hella draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
Like and I think they're one of the they're like the fifth youngest team in football. Like I feel like it's only up from here. I don't think that loss is an indictment on the franchise or the talent on the team. They have their first six picks, 1 through 6, starting at number 22 in the first round. They got the sixth round pick from New England, and they got a seventh round pick from Cincinnati. No, from Cleveland Browns.
So they got a
They
lot
have
of picks.
they have a lot of picks and they have cap space. They have money to burn. So at the end of the day, I don't think Harbaugh is going to win a Super Bowl with this team, but I think it's going to come down to coaching. This team had the necessary people to beat the Texans, but DeMeco Ryans is a better coach than Harbaugh. Harbaugh was very predictable. Harbaugh's play call was predictable, and that's how you end up with 4 picks. You
And CJ
watch the film,
Stroud's also
you
a
know the
better quarterback.
plays. You only have one wide receiver. You shut down the run. I
And,
mean,
and CJ Stroud's also a better quarterback.
yes, CJ Stroud is entering eliteness. He's the next. There's 3 elite quarterbacks, and then CJ Stroud is the next one.
Okay. Okay. Okay, cool. All right, cool. So we're gonna move on. Now we're gonna get to your Ravens. Beating up on the Steelers, 28-14.
Belt to ass.
That was about to ass. That was about to ass. With my man Lamar, Pennsylvania Avenue Jackson. Yeah,
There you go. There you go.
that was stupid. Lamar, Pennsylvania Avenue Jackson.
Yeah.
All right, so Russell Wilson, he was 20 of 29, 270 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Um, Najee Harris had 6 carries for 17 yards. George Pickens had 5 receptions for 87 yards and a touchdown. Najee Harris also had 41 yards receiving, and Van Jefferson had 2 receptions for 37 yards and a touchdown. Um, the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, he was 16 of 21, 175 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Derrick Henry had 26 carries for 186 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Lamar Jackson had 15 carries for 81 yards. Isaiah Likely led you guys in receiving with 3 receptions for 53 yards. Rashad Bateman had 1 receiving touchdown, and Justice Hill also had a receiving touchdown. So I'm gonna just let you go ahead and talk your shit for a second. Yeah.
When we played the Steelers the first game of the season, we lost because Justin Tucker couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
Mm-hmm.
When we played him the second game of the season, our defense and our defensive and offensive lines fixed most of those penalty issues. We went from being a lower ranked defense. We switched to Kyle Hamilton to where he sits in the field. Um, Roquan Smith had a nagging hamstring injury all season. Everybody's healthy now. We didn't have Zay Flowers, which was the only point that I was worried about. But we went from like a number 27 ranked defense to the number 1 ranked defense over the last 5 weeks. I knew it was going to be belt to ass. I told you it was going to be belt to ass. And Lamar and them boys turned up with belt to ass. And the crazy thing is, the way they did it was so crazy. First quarter, I was a little nervous. The game was moving slow. We weren't getting any yards. And Lamar's mama cursed his ass out. Thank that beautiful woman for cursing him out because he put them slave feet on and was running all over them asses. You know what I mean? Then Derrick Henry, that defensive line got wore out very fast. And I think, like, I was a little – I'm not a TJ Watt fan. I am a TJ Watt fan. I'm not a Steelers fan. Last year when TJ Watt didn't win Defensive Player of the Year, I kind of felt like it was more like a popularity contest because he was hands down better than what's my man with the Browns?
Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett. I'm not gonna say hands down. He's a little better than Myles Garrett last year. This year, his production dropped off. I don't think he had a sack in the last 9 games.
He
I
didn't
mean,
have a stat in the last 4 games. That means no tackles, no sacks, no nothing in the
yeah.
last 4 games. So
And I mean, maybe time is catching up to him. I don't know, but Todd Monken, this whole combination that they got going on, like, listen, that we controlled the clock. We had the ball for 40 minutes. 40 minutes.
mhm.
I mean, like, third down efficiency. We had 60% on third downs. We ran more plays. We only allowed 1 sack. We only had 3 penalties. I mean, like, no fumbles, no interceptions. Perfect football.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping we can do it again this week.
Okay. So because I went on that soliloquy of apologizing to the Ravens already, I'm going to and I let you go off too. I'm going to leave that one there. But I want to go into at least starting off. What does this mean for the Steelers? It's not what it will mean. I think it's what it could mean to me. Um, I think what's that coach? Why did I just forget his name? How did I just forget the Steelers coach's name?
Mike Tomlin.
Thank you. Mike Tomlin has shown he's never had a losing record. He's always been above at least 500 or above, everything like that. I think the difference in how far he went had to do with the quarterback that he also had. Having Ben Roethlisberger gave him an advantage because he could fill out a roster. The Steelers have always been able to find wide receivers um, from different places, not necessarily common names, and turn them into somebody productive weapons. You know what I mean? The defense has definitely shown. I'm starting to think this might be the time Mike Tomlin might want to take a look at the Bears and really consider getting over there and getting a actual quarterback. Because if he can do this in Pittsburgh in that market, I think Chicago might be a really good situation for him, so he can solidify his quarterback situation and he can provide exactly what he's providing for the Steelers, um, for the Bears. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, every time something doesn't go right, I get kind of tired hearing Mike Tomlin's like job. Like you know what I mean? Like you don't understand what it's like to not have a losing record in the NFL. Like everybody's had a losing record, not him. Like every other coach that you can name has had a losing record. He's the only one that has not, and especially in their prime. So I think he's a great coach. I think he's great. I just think he needs a quarterback. And once again, talking about a couple conversations we've had about like Russell Wilson stuff, he's not the guy that's going to fix this quarterback situation. The quarterback that they're looking for is still not on their roster, and they still have to play a certain way to win. And if they don't play that way, they can get bested by pretty much the better teams in the NFL.
I'm gonna go a little different with you. I don't think this is an indictment on Mike Tomlin. I think that this team is right where they needed to be. They didn't have a plan after Big Ben. They've been through, I think, six quarterbacks now. Um, Russell Wilson didn't have a bad game. And he didn't throw any interceptions. Didn't make any mistakes. And he's dumb cheap, dumb cheap. Now, when you pick up a Russell Wilson, when you pick up a Justin Fields, and you're paying two capable starters less than you're paying some backups in the league, I think you got to go all in and go get those free agents. And that's been one thing that the Steelers haven't done. They have money to spend. They have draft picks. The Steelers have 1 through 4. They have the fifth pick from the Rams. They have the seventh pick from New Orleans, a seventh pick from Atlanta, and a seventh pick from Washington. They have the number 21 pick, if I'm not mistaken, in this upcoming draft. Um, they only got 1 sack, no interceptions on Lamar. Uh, you're gonna need to upgrade that defense. You need to get enough. George Pickens might be that guy, and I'm another person. They do somehow always have a great receiving core, and I fucking hate it for them. Like I hate the you had Hines Ward and Antoine Randall and Plexico Burris. Then you go to
Flexible
Juju
Bird, Santonio
Smith-Schuster
Holmes.
behind Santonio Holmes, and then you had Juju Smith-Schuster behind AB.
Yeah,
I mean,
Antonio.
like they
Yeah.
always find these
Oh, but there's also
studs.
been like the Deontay Johnson. He came from there. He shot him there. Mike Williams, not Mike Williams. Excuse me.
Deontay Johnson, we can see his career is probably over.
His career's probably over now, but he became attractive because of what he did in Pittsburgh.
But you see what happened? He went from Carolina, came to the Ravens, refused to get in the game, got cut, got picked up by the Texans. The Texans already cut him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How you cutting people? You got injured receivers.
Yes, that's the statement. Yeah, his career's
That's it. Yeah, that there's something going on there.
yeah. But all I'm saying is that. So here's where I'm saying, as opposed to what you're saying. Russell Wilson did not play bad. You're 100% right on that. Going into this game, who had the better active roster? The Steelers or the Ravens?
Ravens.
No, you didn't even have your number one wide receiver.
Okay. We have everything else.
No,
See,
listen, see, this is what I'm saying.
when the
This is what I'm
Steelers,
saying. This is exactly my point. When you have the quarterback situation right, it covers up the things that you don't have that aren't really good. I already said we knew when you got Deontay when you got Deontay, I was like, that's great because you got a number two for Zay Flowers. I knew that was a hole for you. You didn't even have Zay Flowers this game. So you didn't have a number one or number two wide receiver coming into this game. I've already told you, you do have a pass rush, but when it comes down to it,
don't have a pass rush.
when it comes down to it, you don't have a pass rush. But you clearly can get to the passer, but not at a space where it's like, all right, when it really
If
matters.
you ain't top 10, it don't matter.
What
We got
I'm
top 10.
saying is, when you have a quarterback, see, you don't like you're living in this, right? It's hard to look at the Ravens and say what's not there. That's because of Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
And I'm saying if Mike Tomlin was able to have a quarterback that could cover up the shit that's not going well for them,
Yeah. I don't think Mike Thomas is going anywhere though. And as far as Chicago, I think Brian Flores. If I'm Chicago, I'm taking Brian Flores from Minnesota because it'll be a double damage, right? It's a divisional opponent. You take away the defensive coordinator, you bring his defense to Chicago, and you bring his coaching philosophy to and maybe an offense coordinator from somewhere else. You pancake that together. That's going to make Chicago better and make Minnesota worse at the same time. Then you still got to worry about Green Bay, and you still got to worry about Detroit. I think they're gonna go hard for Brian Flores. I personally, if I'm Brian Flores, I'm probably taking that Jets job. What? The division is boo boo. All you gotta do is worry about the Bills. All right. I'll be the second best team in the league in that division. You got a wide receiver. You got buku parts everywhere. You just don't have a quarterback. Well, Brian Flores just resurrected Sam Darnold. Who knows? Brian Flores might take Sam Darnold with him. He's not signed yet.
I'm not even getting into all of that right now. Uh moving on to the next game. Moving on to the next game. Uh, Buffalo. This score wasn't is it looks worse than it actually was, but Buffalo, uh, definitely beat up on the Broncos, 31-7.
About to ask.
It wasn't about to ass. But the Broncos played a team that was just better than them. They played very well for about like two and a quarters, and then it was just that was it. But Bo Nix was 13 to 22, 144 yards, one touchdown, no picks. He also led them in rushing with four carries for 43 yards. And who's that? Javante Williams had 29 yards rushing, not much. Cortland Sutton had five receptions for 75 yards. And Troy Franklin had two receptions for 54 yards and a touchdown. For the Bills, Josh Allen, 20 of 26, 272 yards, two touchdowns, no picks. James Cook, 23 carries, 120 yards, and one touchdown. Josh Allen also had 46 yards rushing as well. Curtis Samuel led them with three receptions for 68 yards and a touchdown. Khalil Shakir had six receptions for 61 yards and a touchdown. Dalton Kincaid had 47 yards. We could pretty much leave that there. What happened this game?
The Broncos, they didn't really have. I mean, they over. This is another team that wasn't supposed to make the playoffs. They're in a rebuild. I mean, they overachieved for what they had, and they faced a much better opponent. Like the team is just better top to bottom. Although I guess you could say the receivers are better for the Broncos. A rookie coach, not a rookie coach, a rookie quarterback. I'm one of those. I'm not a believer in Sean Payton. I think he lucked out and had Drew
I
Brees.
think you're wrong on that one.
They keep calling him a coaching genius, but I don't see how Russell Wilson is as bad as he made him out to be. Right.
Russell Wilson needs a situation. He's never been he's never been a guy that gets you out of shit.
Okay.
And for how much money he gets paid, you got to get somebody out of some shit. Like that's just that comes with that number. When you get paid that much money, you got to get your team out of some shit. He does not have that. He lacks that ability.
I like that. I like that. But when you call someone a coaching genius, you can make it
I
walk
didn't say
on
he was a
water.
coaching genius. I said
Every
I don't think
everyone
I
calls
think he's a
Sean
very
Payton
good.
a coach. Everyone calls
I
Sean
think he's
Payton
an
a coach.
excellent coach. I think he's an excellent head coach. I mean, he's been how many NFC Championship games has he been to? I mean, he's what like three?
No, I don't think it's been three. It might only be one
He
point.
lost to the Bears, he lost to the Rams, and then he won a Super Bowl.
Listen, you
Like
know,
yeah, I'm just saying, like he's been there and he's done it. You know what I mean? So listen, he's been successful, and I'll do that. And he took this team and overachieved with it.
I think he did overachieve. He lucked out with this rookie quarterback. He looks very good. Um, the division is actually getting tougher. They have three teams in the playoffs,
Hmm.
very well represented. But I'm not a believer in Sean Payton. I didn't like how he handled any of the stuff that was going on last year. I didn't like how he handled any of the stuff when he was leaving New Orleans. And what wasn't Sean Payton the guy who was in charge during Bounty Gate?
Yes, he
Yeah.
wasn't the defensive coordinator, but yes,
Okay. The defensive coordinator worked under him and was
yes,
doing illegal things
yes,
in his presence. Yeah.
yes. Well, it wasn't he was paying them more to hurt people.
Okay. And the head coach doesn't know that. Fuck out of here. I'm not a believer in Sean Payton. Fuck him.
Okay, that's fine. Um, so what does this loss mean for the Broncos?
Um, this loss again means absolutely nothing. The Broncos have a very young team. They have picks 1 through 4 of their own. They have their own 6th round pick, and they have Philadelphia's 6th round pick. They have the number 20 overall pick. They have their quarterback, and they have picks. I mean, and I believe they have cap space. So, and oh, this is another thing. This is the 10th youngest team in the NFL. The Chargers are the 5th youngest team. The Steelers are old as hell. Um, I don't think this means anything. This is not an indictment on the team. I think
Hmm.
they overachieved, and when they don't make the playoffs next year, and we come back up here, and I tell you it's because Sean Payton's not a good coach, because there's no excuse. It's only up from here,
That's
right?
not how that always goes. That's not how that always goes.
You're absolutely right. That's not how it always goes. But if you're an excellent coach and you have your quarterback and you have draft picks and you have money and your team is young, you should only get better from here. But he's not that guy.
Well, hold on. So, see, you also got to keep in mind there's an average of 6 teams that made the playoffs the year before and that they don't make it the year after. So, if you're gonna make that point about Sean Payton, you're making that point about 6 head coaches that are in the playoffs right now. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? So all I'm saying is you kind of gotta like you could be better and have a worse record.
Yes, you can.
And that's all I'm saying. So like,
Can be
I'm not
better and
saying
have a worse
I
record.
gotta look at their offseason. I have no idea what they're gonna be drafting. I know what I think that they need to draft. I mean they need to make sure they need to support Bo Nix. They need to make sure he gets another receiver. They need to make sure he gets another running back. They need to make sure that I think that defense still needs another pass rusher. Um, they gotta you know what I mean, but there's a couple things that they could do, but I don't know what they'll do, and I don't know what everybody else in their division will do. I don't know what everybody else in the AFC will do. But the AFC, I mean, keep in mind, they were in one game of the Bengals, the Colts, the Dolphins. I mean, it could have very easily been them not in the playoffs just as well as it was them in the playoffs. So
Got it. And when they don't make the playoffs, I'm going to tell you it's going to be coaching.
you just hating on you just hating on Sean Payton.
I don't think he's that good.
Well, I mean, three NFC Championship games and the Super Bowl says different. Do you know how many other head coaches got three NFC Championship games and a Super Bowl?
How many other head coaches had Drew Brees in his prime?
How many other head coaches? Well, you keep telling me about this man Justin Herbert, and he ain't even won a playoff game.
He ain't had the same coaching. Coaching is a large part of this. It's a large
I'm not
part of it.
denying that. I'm not denying that. But what I am saying is every team don't have every head coach don't always have a great quarterback, and every quarterback don't always have a great head coach.
100%. 100%.
Now, did they come together, and that is why they won the Super Bowl? Yes, but you can't. I don't believe in taking something away from either one of them because in all the situations that we're talking about, teams that have been able to do that, there's been a head coach and a quarterback that were together for teams that were able to go to multiple championship games, win a Super Bowl, go to multiple Super Bowls, anything like that. There's always a quarterback tandem. So you can't use that to take that away from anybody, any one of them.
Uh, I'm I'm just going to give you my indictment on him. The way
You
he
think he's a
handled
piece of shit.
everything.
I don't mind you don't like the guy. Like you're like he's an asshole. Like you know what I'm saying? Like he didn't
No,
have to do
no,
Russell
no,
Wilson
no.
like that. I don't disagree with that.
That was an asshole move. Even the stuff he did in the media kind of devalued him before you could trade to get something from him. You know what I mean? Like his moves were very not smart. Like I don't know how to describe it. Like
So
you're
like
saying he's an excellent coach, but an excellent coach. All right, Chip Kelly with Deshaun Jackson. He demonized him before trading him away, so you didn't get the value that his talent demanded. Right? Russell Wilson, if you knew that you weren't that he wasn't going to restructure, you don't leak all that information to devalue him. You
Mhm.
you you trade him in hopes of getting what you want. You got nothing for him.
Right, but like isn't that the same thing that happened allegedly with Flores in Miami with Tua? He said Tua's not the guy, and I don't think he was wrong. But how he went about it was
No,
a real asshole
Flores
situation.
Flores didn't get a real shot, and they wanted him to tank, and he just gave out all this extra information because he felt like he was being blackballed.
Yeah, but Tua has said he's hurt because Flores went out to tell him he's not the guy. He's not that good.
And
That came out of Tua's mouth.
me, I don't remember that story. I just remember the him being blackballed and him not getting a real chance.
Eagles also put both the ass to the Green Bay Packers. It was 22-10. Belt the ass. This might be the theme of the show. Belt the ass. This episode because a lot of belt the asses. Um, Jordan Love was 20 of 33, 212 yards, no touchdowns and three picks. Ouch. Josh Jacobs had 18 carries for 81 yards and a touchdown. Josh Reed led them in receiving with 46 yards receiving. We go back over to the Eagles. Oh, my phone's going loco. There we go. Here we go, yo. Jalen Hurts was 13 for 21 for 131 yards, two touchdowns, zero picks. Saquon was 25 of, oh, he was 25 of. He had 25 carries for 119 yards, no touchdowns. Uh, Devontae Smith he led them in receiving with four receptions for 55 yards and no touchdowns. Dallas Goddard had a receiving touchdown, and Jahan Dotson had another touchdown. Um, I'm actually going to start with this one. The what happened here, and you tell me if I'm wrong. Of course you will. I told you a couple weeks ago that um, I said Jalen Hurts, Jordan Love, and Lamar Jackson, they were of the same ilk. Now, of course, Lamar Jackson is the best of all three of them, but they got to throw a certain amount of times to be really successful. Well, Jalen Hurts threw it 21 times, and they overachieved. Jordan Love threw it 33 times, you know? Even Lamar, I wouldn't love it if I saw Lamar throwing it 33 times. I don't want to see Jordan Love throw it 33 times. I think they should have leaned on the running game a lot more, and I think coaching cost them more than anything this game. It's a shame because it ended up making Jordan Love look worse than he actually is. But at this point now, he's been in the playoffs two times. Um, he's won two games. Well, he's won one game and lost two. So we got to keep an eye on him in terms of his trajectory. But you were the one who told me, actually initially told me about Jordan Love, and I think he's phenomenal. I just think the game plan wasn't suited against a defense of this caliber, and you got to know coming into a game like this that they're saying he's the one that we got to get.
Uh, I mean, I don't think this is an indictment on Jordan Love. The game was closer than so the Eagles couldn't really put anything on the board. The Packers defense held them. Jordan Love did have the three picks, but the game was like one score going into halftime.
No,
Um,
it was 10-0 at halftime.
no, 10, all right, 10. I thought it was 10-3 or 10-3, but the game wasn't as bad as the numbers are saying. Jordan Love, three picks, and only be down 10 points is kind of phenomenal. Um, I just think they came across a more talented team. The Eagles, top to bottom, are more talented. I think Jordan Love is a
Agreed.
better
Agreed.
quarterback. I think Jordan Love is a better quarterback of the two. Um, I'm worried about the Eagles going to the next round because Jalen Hurts, coming off that concussion, he was not effective.
Hmm.
I mean, I feel like the team, I
Also true.
feel like the team was decent or not decent. The team was very good, and they carried them. That defense is a problem. I think that might be the best defense in the playoffs. It's definitely a top three or four defense in the playoffs. So, I mean, I think this is an indictment on Jordan Love. I think that there's going to be no change with this team. They have picks 1 through 7. They have a second rounder from the Jets, a third rounder from the Bills, then number 23 in the first round. So that's two second rounds, two third rounders. Um, this is the youngest team in football.
Hmm.
The youngest team in football. And I want to say I want to say they got cap space. So I'm not worried about this at all. Um I I would like to say it's only up from here, but as you can see, three competitive
It has the
teams.
ninth. It
Chicago
has
is
the
spending
ninth
money.
most cap space in the NFL.
Yeah, so I think that this is going to be. I mean, I think they should have ran the ball more. I think what they probably need is upgrade at the tight end position. You know what I mean? But they can literally do whatever fuck they want. They
Hmm.
got 10 draft picks. They got one, two, three, four, one, two, three, four, five. They got five in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
dope.
that is
Yeah, I agree. And first of all, thank you for answering. Um, what does this loss mean for them, and not too much. Um, I agree. See, I think what hurt them more than anything this year was the injuries at the positions that they were. AJ Dillon got hurt. That's their second. That's the next running back. Maybe they could have relied more on the running game. C.J. Watson got hurt. That's another weapon in a very young receiving core. That's hard to bounce back for. And then their cornerback. What's their cornerback? Their top guy?
I forget, but I just want to shout out Bo Melton from Atlantic County, New Jersey, Egg Harbor City. Um, they tried to hit him a few times, and it didn't pan out for him. But the kid is lights out. He was lights out his rookie year, and I think we're gonna be seeing Bo Melton and his brother for many years to come.
Yeah, it's gonna bug me not Jair Alexander. Whew. That was gonna bug me if I didn't say his name. So I think for them, I think for the Packers, just they could have been one of them overachieving teams, but at those were the positions that they needed not to have injuries. So they were all crucial for them. So that's what I think about them. So no, I agree with you. Not much that I'm worried about with them. Um, just it has just happened that way. All right. So moving on, the Commanders went into Tampa Bay and won, and I called this game by the way. Uh, they won 23-20 on a doinker to win the game. Passing Baker Mayfield, he was 15 to 18, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Bucky Irvin led them in rushing with 17 carries for 77 yards, no rushing touchdowns. Mike Evans had 7 receptions, 92 yards, and a touchdown. That's what. And my boy Jayden, he went 24 of 35, 268 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Then he also led them in rushing with 13 carries for 36 yards. Um, Terry McLaurin led them with 7 receptions, 89 yards, and a touchdown. And then Damani Brown. We were having a conversation about their wide receivers. I thought he was having a better year than he actually had, but he's the number two wide receiver. He had 5 receptions for 89 yards and a touchdown as well. Um, Actually, I want to start here because it's one thing I want to say. First of all, I want to say, Baker Mayfield, you had a great season. He's somebody who I was very, very, very low on. He had a great season. This is the best. This is the most impressive I've been with him this year. If we're just putting up quarterback against quarterback, NFL team against NFL team, there's no reason to hang your hat on this loss. Your performance, you weren't like, yeah, I mean, you held them together. They would probably have broken apart a little earlier without you. So that's what. I just think Jaden Daniels, man. I Jaden Daniels scares me in the future. Jaden Daniels is really that kind of good. Um, and he is masking once again. This is exactly what I'm saying about a quarterback. He is masking a roster that has a lot of deficiencies, and it does not seem like it. Um, but this is a remarkable year, a remarkable performance. Washington had in the DC area has not had a team like this, and or had hope in any kind of sports team in, like 20 years. So this is big for them. Shout out to them, and this has been a great. It's been great watching them this season. I'm very excited to see them next week as well.
Um, I agree. I think Jaden Daniels is going to be pushing into the elite conversation very soon. He might even surpass CJ Stroud to get there first. He literally has it all. He has that crazy stat. Um, there are three quarterbacks. No, there are three games by a rookie quarterback um, where he's won a game. He hasn't had a drive that required a punt or a field goal or something like that. And I guess all three games are him. Like that's a crazy stat. But I guess it's also, you know, two and a half, six in one hand, half a dozen in the other, because a lot of past rookie quarterbacks didn't start 17 games, so he had more opportunity. I'm not. I like him. He's going to be dangerous. Um, and it's kind of only up from here. Like I know they have cap space because they haven't spent any money. I think they have draft picks. Um, yeah, the Bucks yet. I think this might have a problem for them.
Go ahead.
Um, is Baker Mayfield the guy? I don't think there's anyone in the world who would want him to be the guy. I mean, they're making do. They're patching up the ship before it goes down. But you got Mike Evans, coming to like leaving his prime, or maybe at his very prime right now. You have a lot of talent on that team. Todd Bowles has been there 3 years. He's had three different offensive coordinators. Um, this is I mean, it's a weak division. I mean, the division is not going to stay weak forever.
Hmm.
I, if I think I'm going to say this is going to be the last year for either Todd Bowles or Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay.
Actually, I tend to disagree. Well, because one, Baker's not a free agent, and why would you move off of top bowls? Now, I will
I'm,
say this.
I'm
I
not.
will
I'm
say
not
this.
saying. I'm not saying this year that just passed. One more
Oh,
year.
you're saying next year? Okay, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
This year coming is going to be.
Now
You
this
either got to
this
make
I
something's got
got
to
you.
happen.
I got you. Now the only problem with Tampa Bay is they have a lot of free agents, and they have about $20 million of cap space, which is like
Nothing. We have to
14.
re-sign all them people.
Yeah, which is like 21st in the league. So they're towards the bottom. They're not at the bottom, but they're towards the bottom of not really having a bunch of cap space to resign. And they have a lot of players that they're going to have to resign. So I don't know what they're going to do and who they're going to bring in. I don't even know if they listen. The NFC South is so bad. I can't tell you that they won't make the playoffs again and win the division again next year. Um, but they may not. I don't know.
I feel like the NFC South is terrible, but I don't want to bank on my division being terrible. You know what I mean? Like, I would
But it
rather.
worked for them the last 2 years. I'm not like to be real with you. I look at them if they was in any other division, they wouldn't have made they wouldn't have made the playoffs any of the last two
It
years.
worked for the last two years, or this year and last year, because Atlanta made that dumb move and picking up Cousins, and nothing could get right in Carolina. And then there's been so many injuries in New Orleans.
New Orleans is in such a bad situation. I will talk about that in a second. I'm actually that was going to come up in our next segment, but like you wait till you hear some stats about them. But no, let's just move on to the final game of this weekend. The Rams looked awful good against the Vikings, and I picked the Vikings too. I thought the Vikings was going to win this game, but they won 27 to 9. I thought that they were going to win this game because I thought once the wildfires happened and they moved the game, that would kill the Rams' home field advantage. And I was like, oh, now it's going to be more of a neutral game. You know what I mean? So, but it didn't matter at all. Sam Darnold was 25 of 40 for 245 yards, one touchdown, one pick. Aaron Jones had 13 carries for 48 yards. TJ Hockenson led them in receiving with five receptions for 64 yards and a touchdown. Justin Jefferson had five receptions for 58 yards. And Jordan Addison only had three receptions for 29 yards too. I'm going to get to that just to let you know. Matthew Stafford, on the other hand, he was 19-27, 209 yards, two touchdowns, no picks. Kyron Williams had 16 carries for 76 yards. There was no rushing touchdowns. Tyler Higbee led him in receiving with five receptions for 58 yards. Puka Nakua had five receptions for 44 yards. And so on and so on. Let me start with this one, and then I'll let you rock out with this one. Um, One, I think a couple of things about this. I think the Rams did a. I think their defense. Like I think this is a scary team. I said before, like in the middle of the season, like when they were like 1-4 and they had all these injuries, remember when the Cardinals were like in first place and they and the 49ers, I was like, I don't think the NFC really wants the Rams to get in. Uh, they're even their defense is playing better than I think anybody could have expected. You know, like locking up Justin Jefferson like that, like you can't undersell that. We've had a lot of conversations about wide receivers. You made up a very good point. Does a quarterback make a wide receiver good, or does a wide receiver make a quarterback good? And I said to you, I think a wide receiver can be good enough that a quarterback can't make them necessarily better. Um, I think Justin Jefferson is exactly that. So what they were able to do with him, disrupting him, um, yeah, they here, man. The Rams are a scary team, and that's hey, man. You know what I mean? Like this is to me. I The reason why I like the Rams so much also is because I really do think in my this might be a little bit of a emotional statement. I really do think this has been the best GM job that I've ever seen. Watching these Rams these last couple years, I've never seen nothing like this. When you talk about how much that they mortgage, how much of their future they mortgage to get that Super Bowl, and once that had to get broken down, they never not made the playoffs. So they mortgaged their future and still always made the playoffs. So the pieces that they had to paste together with no cap space, with it being more unattractive, like for them to now look like this, they made the playoffs last year. I've not, this could just be me. I've never seen a team mortgage the future, never miss the playoffs, and look scary 2 years after that. Usually it takes like 10 years before a team to get relevant again after that. For me, yeah, this is, I've never seen anything like this.
Ah, I mean, the division fell apart, so we were all expecting the 49ers to be here. The
Hmm.
division fell apart. It was like a race to who was going to win, and everybody had a shot at it.
But
Uh,
hold on, but can I just ask you a question? Because going back to last year, we looked at, because both the 49ers and the Rams made the playoffs last year. The prediction was the Rams are the team that's going to fall off, and the 49ers are the team that's going to make the playoffs.
injuries do that to you. Like I mean, like if you
But
get
that
right,
happened to them too. That's what
if you
I'm
get
saying. That's why they
you
went
get
1 and
healthy at the
4.
right time. That's all that matters. Like I don't have indifference against the Rams. I like the Rams. I'm just not a Stafford fan. Um, I don't think I don't think that I'm gonna tell you what happened here. Here's my prediction.
Hmm.
The Vikings were hot. They had a very good season. They only lost one game coming into this. I feel like they if they would have won that last game, they would have been on like a 5 game winning streak. Todd Bowles has turned a franchise around that everyone gave up on. You know, you pick up Sam Darnold just to put a band-aid on your cancer. Kirk Cousins
McConnell.
leave at
You talking about McConnell?
no, I'm talking about Kevin Flores. I said Todd Bowles, you're right. I'm
Yeah,
talking about Flores.
but McConnell is the head coach.
I know.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
He's not why they were good.
Okay,
They're good because of that defense. Brian Flores is the hot commodity. The Vikings might come back down to reality next year when Brian Flores is gone. He's going to be the guy interviewing. He's probably already got an agent and talking to different teams. He wasn't focused. The defense did look good, but the offense was predictable. If you double team Jefferson, what do you got? Oh, we're gonna go to Addison. Well, we'll put our best corner on him. What are you gonna do? Okay, we'll let your tight end get one touchdown. That's
hmm
all he did all season.
hmm
If I know where you're going and my front four, my front seven can put pressure on you every down, what we got, my boy? Like I'm not all surprised. Um, again, the thing that surprised me most about this is how Matt Stafford looks good because I thought, when he started getting injured last year, he's older. You know what I mean, he's an older
You thought
quarterback.
his career had started to peak. So did I,
Yeah.
and I don't disagree with exactly what you're saying.
So I mean, what does this mean for this team? Um, the Vikings, they're an older team. They're going to lose their defensive coordinator. Um, they only have 3 picks this upcoming year. They do have cap space, but are I think honestly, I think that losing this game helps them. Brian Flores is leaving. If Sam Darnold would have won this game, he would have held them for ransom, and that would have been no good because they don't have any draft picks. You know what I
I
mean?
agree. I agree.
Now he's going to go from a 50 something million dollar quarterback to a possible 30, $40 million quarterback,
Hmm.
which is going to give them space to breathe and get this shit right.
Okay. Okay. Cool, cool. Now I will say this. You said because I don't think Matthew Stafford for me either has washed off all the stink from how he was in Detroit. But I will tell you this: the last 3 years have he has been great, and I gotta give praise where praise is due. The last 3 years, he won a Super Bowl. Then he took what was supposed to be rebuilding, and now they look like, all right, are they actually like if they beat the Eagles next week, that wouldn't be shocking to me. That I don't think that should be shocking to anybody if they actually did beat the Eagles because they're really that good.
got,
And he's held this
you
together.
gotta
He's been a
say
glue. He's been a glue for this organization the last 3 years. He's been the glue.
3 of the last 4 years.
So
Three
I'm giving
years
him
ago,
three. No, I'm giving him three because he won a Super Bowl, first of all.
that
And
was 4 years
then
ago.
no, he won the Super Bowl 3 years ago.
3 years ago, he was injured. Only played 9 games. They were 3-6.
Okay. So this year, last year, when did they win the Super Bowl? In
One.
21.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So 4 years. Okay, you're right.
3 of the last 4 years, he's looked very good.
Okay. 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 I give you that.
All right. Um, like I said, the Rams, I'd be kind of scared to see them because they're a super young team too. Um, Cooper Cup can
Yeah, they're
stay
young
can stay
again
healthy.
too.
Yeah, they're super young. I mean, and they've been drafting very well. And I mean, what's his name? McVay, right?
Show me that.
That's it. Sean McVay, where he said, fuck them picks. You know what I mean? Like you're right. They were supposed to be rebuilding. Aaron Donald retired. Everybody thought that they were gonna fall off, and they're
They're
literally
supposed to though.
gonna.
But they're supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't more like you're supposed to after that. And they didn't. So that's it. All right, cool. So we're gonna move on to the next segment. So now that we went through this whole wild card thing, the losers of the wild card round. I want you to rank them. Now I didn't give you more context more than just, rank the teams from best to worst or worst to best. But yeah, I just wanted to hear where you thought these losing teams of the wild card round where they ranked.
Okay. Number one, I'm gonna rank the Packers. I'm gonna go bottom to top. In sixth place, I'm gonna go Buccaneers. They have no cap space, and I mean, I
This
don't
is
know
just
if
the
they.
losing
Oh,
team. This is just the losing team. Don't rank the wild card round. Just the losing teams.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, because you said sixth.
Oh shit! Wait, who do I got? Yeah, it's 3-3.
Oh yeah, my bad. You right. You right. You right. Go
Yeah,
ahead. Go ahead.
you got me.
It's a little late now. You know what I'm
In,
saying? So it hits you every once in a while. Go ahead.
in last place, I got the Bucks, no cap space, and they're not sure on quarterback. I mean, obviously he's under contract, but I don't think you'd be comfortable if he's your quarterback. In fifth place, I'm gonna go Chargers. Um, although they do have the quarterback they want, they have draft picks and they do have cap space. It's the coach that don't do it for me. Um, the Vikings, they have cap space, but they have no picks. That's fourth. The Steelers have two stand-ins, right? I
Mhm.
don't think they're sure with what quarterback with who's their quarterback, but they're comfortable enough, and they do have a lot of draft picks, and they're a little older, but they're very well coached. The Broncos, they have everything they need moving forward. They have a quarterback. They have plenty of picks. And I mean, people say their coach is a genius. I disagree. He's gonna find a way to fuck this up. But in first place, I have the Packers. They are the youngest team in football, talented everywhere, and they have a ton of draft picks. So moving forward, that's a scary team to be competing with. Their quarterback's young, the receivers are young, they have multiple running backs. The defense is very good. I think they're the best team from the losing round.
Okay. Okay. That's not a bad list. That's actually not a bad. I love to tell you that what you're saying is terrible. Um, but that's not a bad list. Now, my list, I actually wanted to say it in terms of a little bit of a projection into next year. So where I feel as though as a team they'll be next year. So at the bottom, the worst team, I got the Bucks, and they could still win their division. I just think they're going to be the worst team out of all of them. Um, the Bucks. Then right after them, five, I have the Vikings. I just think, yeah, I think Brian Flores is going to be a big problem. I mean them replacing them, and if I'm not mistaken, they okay. No, they're seventh in cap space, but they should be losing a bunch of people. Yeah, they got a couple. They got a couple people that they got that are going to be free agents too. You know what I mean? So, so that's here nor there. Um, so I got the Bucks, then I got the Vikings. Then it actually gets really hard. So I'm gonna go to Broncos next, right? But they could be excellent next year. You know what I mean? They could. They definitely. But the only reason I had them next was because I feel as though they out of the other teams they have more they got to still get their culture together. You know what I mean? They just started. You know what I mean? There's also room for them to not be good as well. They could be excellent, or they could miss the playoffs completely next year. Um, Next I have the Chargers. And the reason for that is because now, doing this now, I know you're saying this is their rebuild and anything, but now now you got your pass rushers getting old. They're they should have a lot of cap space next year. Yeah, they have a lot of cap space, but what are they going to decide on? What do they need? Are they deciding that they need more for Justin Herbert, or are they saying, "Oh, we got to replace people"? Do we need like what is their thought process, or are they going to not spend too much money at all and just go through the draft? I don't even know their whole philosophy, so that's why I got them there because I don't know what they're going to do next. So I got Bucks, Vikings, Broncos, Chargers. Then I got the Steelers because I think that they have to really consider what they're going to do in terms of this quarterback position. Yes, but I think that they're going to be able to get to they're going to walk away with two wide receivers. You know what I mean? Um, and that's exactly how I feel about them. And their drafts. I mean, and they have a lot of cap space too. And then the Green Bay Packers, being the youngest team in the playoffs, having Jordan Love as their quarterback. Um, Having all that cap space, I mean, I love where what their trajectory is at right now.
There you
Okay.
go.
All right. Let's just jump into these games then. Divisional round games. All right. Let's go with the first game. Texans Chiefs. Who you got?
Oh, obviously, I'm a big fan
In the
of my man.
Texans. I knew you was gonna say that. I knew you was gonna say
No,
that. I knew
I'm
you was
going
gonna say
to going with the Chiefs.
that.
Gotta beat the champ. You gotta beat the champ.
Listen,
I,
if you want to be the man, you got to beat the man.
here you go. Hey, even though I'm a big CJ Stroud fan,
I know, I know,
you
I
gotta
know,
knock the
I know.
champ off the
Ain't
list.
nothing wrong with that. Um, so I even look at this. I don't really give them any chance of winning. I look at this game and really say, what's the chance of them making this a good game? And I think that's 50-50.
It's gonna be a good game. I believe in D'Amico Ryans. I love how he schemes out the offense. I love how he approaches the game. It's gonna be offense versus defense, and you saw what happened last week. I mean,
So now you gonna see the AFC West up big brother now. You saw the little brother. Now you gonna see the big brother now. All right. Cool. So let's go next. Commanders at Lions.
I'm gonna go Lions. They're too talented. They got a
Yes.
bye week. The Commanders just squeaked by the Bucks. I I just see there's two. They have two. You have Gibbs. You have Saint Rod. Like I mean, this is a super talented team. Like I don't see any other way for it to go.
Yeah, I looked at this game the same way as I kind of looked at the Texans game. I don't give the Commanders any chance of winning the game, but I do give them I give them probably like a 30% chance of making it an actual good game. You know, um, little, and the only reason for that is because the Lions got had um, a lot of injuries on their defense. We just haven't really been able to really see it present the problem yet. And I think that there's a situation where they could, But yeah, I think the Lions they're going to score too many points. All right, so we got Rams and Eagles.
Oh, my bad. I am gonna go with the Rams. I'm gonna go with the away team.
Ooh.
Um, I don't think Jalen Hurts is 100%. I don't. I don't think. I think that concussion is still lingering because he was not effective against the Packers.
hmm
Like, and I feel like the Rams can get to him. I feel like the Rams can, and if they can't get to him, if they can't get to him, I think they'll be able to slow Saquon down. The Eagles need without Hurts being effective, they need 125 or better from Saquon, and I feel like it's going to be a 75-yard game coming up.
Okay. The first of all, I do not hate that pick, and once again, you know how I love telling you what you just said was terrible. Uh, but I just think the Eagles got too many ways to have beaten people. That's the thing about the Eagles. So I think if you took away the run, they can pass it on you. Do I think Hurts is having a second bad showing? No, I don't. I mean he's not he's an upper echelon quarterback. So him having a bad showing or not being crisp last week, I think that has a lot to do with my comfort in this game. I just think the Eagles, you know what I mean. The problems that the Rams presented for the Vikings, the Eagles' offensive line is good. Their defensive line is good. Um,
Remember who went down? Somebody had a ACL tear or some sort of tear on the Eagles. I don't know if it was a defensive line. It was a lineman went
well,
down
look,
last.
I'm right now. I'm not too sure about that, but I'm still saying what I'm saying. And this is and so if the Rams, what I'm saying was the best GM job I ever saw, the Eagles would be the next one that I would look at and say, God, look what they have been able to do with this roster. Um, so I'm very much interested in this game. All right, cool. And then that last game. You know that last game. So, okay, Ravens at Bills. Not that I don't already know what you're gonna say, but
Okay.
who you got?
Listen, I don't want to disrespect the boy Allen, but fuck the Bills.
Oh, talk your shit. Talk your
Look,
shit. I love
it
it.
was belt to ass when we caught them early in the season.
hmm
They run around town talking about, oh, we a different team. You went out and got Cooper. You ain't using him. You know what I mean? He ain't helping.
hmm
Since we moved my man Kyle Hamilton over, and I don't know what changed, but we're the number one defense last five weeks of the season.
hmm
Number one in takeaways, number one in every stat. And on top of that, we got the real MVP. He can
hmm
have that award. We going for the Super Bowl, my boy. Listen, listen. I don't want a co-MVP. You know what I want? I want them to award Josh Allen the MVP because we know who's gonna get the Super Bowl MVP. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Zay Flowers don't come, it don't matter. We just showed y'all what we do in these streets.
No,
Listen,
don't hurt him. Don't
listen,
hurt him
listen,
out
listen.
here.
It was belt to ass when our defense was ass.
hmm
Now it's going to be belt, foot, and ass when we play them
hmm
this time. All right, fuck it. All them bit they talking so much shit on my boy. And let me just get this off my chest.
Okay.
I grew up in the era where there was only two black quarterbacks in the whole NFL, and this past weekend there were 7 black quarterbacks out of 14 quarterbacks in the playoffs. What's fucking with that?
Mm-mm.
What's fucking with that? We want Warren Moon and Randall Cunningham if they
But
could
they got to
see,
get reparations. They got to get reparations. You see what I'm saying? Because they held it
if they
down.
could see us now. If
They
they
need
could see us
reparations.
now.
Listen, man. I don't know how to follow that up. I'm gonna be honest with you, but I will follow that up with this. Y'all not going into Buffalo and winning this game, okay? You listen. The last game it was
Go to
in
Maryland
Baltimore.
too.
It was in Baltimore. Y'all won that. You know what I mean? This is it's hard to sweep a team. It's hard to beat a team twice in the same year. And now y'all going into Buffalo. You know what I'm saying? Um, I think the winner of this should win the MVP. I'll be honest with you. But I think I'm sticking with co MVP. And I like Josh Allen. I like what they got going on. I like their versatility and how they can play as well. And that's that. But
Yeah,
I mean, after
I like
that, we're
it.
just gonna see. We're gonna have to see that. You know, we're gonna talk anyway. But we're gonna
There
have to
you
see
go.
it. We're gonna have to see you in them championship games. So let's wrap this up because we got a minute left before we got to do all this. First of all, I appreciate you always coming on, man. You always come on. You always bring the heat. You always do. You see what I'm saying? This is why we need you out here on these apps. You see what I'm saying? In the space, we need you out here.
There we go. I'm out here. You know what I mean? Listen, you called me up. You put the bat signal out there. I'm out there.
Talk to him. Talk to him. Talk to him. Talk to him. All right, Shelby, you already know. Catch the full episodes on Spotify and YouTube. The you get the reels on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We all over the place. So
We
we're
gotta
gonna
go
have to
to a
see
new
about
one.
we're gonna have to see about these Ravens this week. And unfortunately for how you just came on, I'm gonna have to tell you too, cuz you don't know football. I appreciate you always, man, and all you
All right,
do.
guys.